Parte 1. The first knock. When I moved into apartment 903, I thought I was getting a good deal. 9 floors up, clean building, secure entry, doorman during the day, even came with a balcony that overlooked downtown Chicago. Sure, it was a little old, early 80s construction, popcorn ceilings, creaky elevator, but the rent was half what anyone else was charging in River West, and the landlord barely responded, which was perfect. I just wanted quiet, no roommates, no more splitting rent with strangers who drank too much, talked too loud, or brought home people who stayed for weeks. I didn't want drama. And for the first 2 weeks, I didn't get any until the knock. It was 3:14 a.m. Exactly. I know because I checked the clock when I woke up. I always do. I've had insomnia for years, so I tend to log my sleep like a paranoid scientist. That night, I'd fallen asleep around midnight. TV still playing some documentary about failed pyramid schemes. I woke up suddenly. No dream, no noise, just awake. And then I heard it. A single knock from the window. 3 short steps from my bed. Not the front door, not the walls, the window. I live on the 9th floor. There's no fire escape, no ledge, just sheer brick wall and then glass. I froze, didn't move, waited for a follow-up knock. None came. I got out of bed, approached slowly, pulled the curtain back. Nothing. Empty balcony. Dark city. No wind, no rain, no birds. Nothing. I opened the sliding door, stepped outside, cold concrete under my feet. No footprints, no signs, just the faint smell of something burnt, like a blown-out candle. I told myself it was a dream. A sound from the building, pipes, heating, whatever. I wrote it off. Didn't tell anyone, didn't post it, didn't even journal it. I just tried to sleep. It didn't work. The next night, I stayed up late, worked on freelance editing for a client. Headphones on, rain sounds playing. At 3:14 a.m., I felt it again. The shift, something in the air. Then, knock. Same sound. 1 flat hit against the glass, like someone pressing a knuckle into the window, not rapping fast, but deliberately. I ripped the curtain open, no one there. I stepped out again. Same cold air, same burnt smell. This time, I noticed something else. The sliding door was slightly open, half an inch. I never leave it open, ever. Night 3, I set up my phone to record, propped it against a stack of books, pointed it straight at the window, hit record at 3 a.m., sat on the edge of the bed, didn't blink. At exactly 3:14, knock. I didn't even flinch this time. I lunged for the phone, stopped the recording, and played it back. Video ran clean, no corruption, crystal clear. Time matched, and at 3:14:01, the knock sounded, but nothing in the frame. No shadow, no shape, no movement, just a sound. I slowed it down, boosted brightness. Still nothing, but something was off. 1 frame, just one, between 3:14 and 3:14:01. A flash, not light, not static, a reflection of a face. Mine, but not mine. Mouth smiling, eyes too wide. Like a wax version of me was pressed against the glass from the outside. And then it vanished. I didn't sleep at all. To be continued in part 2. Parte dos. My reflection doesn't blink. I didn't leave my apartment the next day. Called off work, closed my laptop, sat on the couch, staring at my phone, replaying that one frame over and over. Pause, tap, rewind, tap, forward, tap, the same image every time. Me, or what looked like me, on the other side of the window, nose almost touching the glass, eyes wide, grinning like someone who had never smiled before and didn't know how to stop. The frame after that? Gone. Blank. Just city lights. I showed it to a friend later that week. He squinted and said, "Looks like a compression glitch." "Glitches don't make faces," I told him. He laughed, awkwardly. "You're not sleeping, huh?" No, I wasn't. I tried contacting the building manager. Asked if anyone had ever reported strange activity. Break-ins, window tampering, maintenance at night. He said no, then paused. Said something about a guy who used to live in my unit back in the early 2000s. Said he was quiet, weird, a writer, stayed up late, died in the unit, suicide. But nothing like what you're describing, the manager said quickly. Totally unrelated. He didn't give me the guy's name, but I Googled the address with the word death, found one mention in an old blog from 2004. Archived. A single line. He said the knocking was always softest before it got inside. That night, I taped black construction paper over the entire window, double layers, duct tape along the edges. Then I turned the camera back on. Same setup. 3 a.m. I sat and waited. 3:13, 3:14. Knock, but louder this time. Not aggressive, just firmer, intentional. I jumped. The window didn't rattle. The paper didn't move, but I felt the sound in my chest. Not like something hitting glass, like something tapping bone. I stopped the recording, played it back. This time, something new. At the moment of the knock, the video flickered, just slightly. And in the frame after, the construction paper was gone. At least for one split second. And the reflection of my room in the glass still showed me. Still sitting, still staring, but the real me had already stood up. My reflection didn't move. I didn't sleep, didn't try, just sat in the shower until the sun came up. And the next day, I left town. I stayed with my sister in Michigan for 5 nights. No knocking, no weird dreams, no reflections. She said I looked like shit, told me to get out more, touch grass. I agreed, started to believe I imagined the whole thing. Sleep deprivation, hallucination, fine. I was ready to let it go. Until I got home. The first thing I noticed, the construction paper was gone. All of it. Cleanly removed. No tape left. No scraps. The window was spotless. Second thing was on the kitchen counter, fully charged. I hadn't left it there. I opened the gallery. There was one new video, dated 2 nights ago. Timestamp, 3:14 a.m., 7 seconds. I pressed play. The video showed my apartment, empty, lights off. Then, a voice, faint, muffled, from outside the glass. "Let me in, Liam." It was my voice. To be continued in part 3. Part 3, the voice on the other side. I dropped the phone. It hit the counter and clattered to the floor. The screen didn't crack, but my chest felt like it did. Hearing your own voice say something you didn't say, it does something to you. Makes you question the shape of your own mind. I picked it up slowly, replayed the video again. Same voice, same knock. Let me in, Liam. Not begging. Not angry. Just waiting. I turned on every light in the apartment, dug through drawers, found painter's tape and old foil, covered the windows, put a heavy chair in front of the balcony door. Then I opened the camera app, switched to the selfie view, just to see. Nothing behind me. But when I moved my hand, waved at the camera, the reflection didn't follow. It stayed still, then smiled. I threw the phone. Not hard, just far enough across the room to make it feel like the right thing to do. It hit the couch, didn't break, didn't matter. I didn't sleep that night either. Just sat at the kitchen table, holding a knife. Not because I thought it would help, but because it made me feel less alone. The next day, I called in sick, said I had a migraine. Didn't mention the hallucinations. Didn't mention the thing outside the window with my face. I sat down at my laptop. Started searching for other stories. I typed 3:14 a.m. knock window. Hundreds of results. Most garbage. Creepypasta. YouTube videos with fake thumbnails and grainy filters. But one post stood out. A forum called Reflection Watch, locked behind a login wall. I got in using an old Reddit handle. Thread title: Knocks at the window, higher floors only. Pattern: OP described the same exact thing. They lived on the 11th floor in Minneapolis. First knock came at 3:14 a.m. Always one knock. Always from the glass. No ledge, no trees. They posted blurry screenshots. One of them showed a reflection. Not theirs. Someone older. Gaunt. Smiling too wide. Eyes too empty. And a comment below caught my attention. Username: Room 616. Comment: It starts with a knock, then a voice, then a smile, then you forget which side of the glass you're on. I clicked their profile. Deactivated. Every post removed. But I recognized the name. Room 616. Where had I heard that? Then I remembered. My friend Dylan used to live in an old building on Clark Street, room 616. I hadn't heard from him in months. I texted him, no response. I called, straight to voicemail. I found his building's management office and lied about being his cousin. Asked if he still lived there. The woman on the phone hesitated, then said, "That unit's been empty for weeks. Police sealed it. Some kind of incident." I asked what kind. She said she didn't know. Didn't want to know. That night, I boarded up the balcony door. Real wood. Hammered into the frame. The kind of thing you do for hurricanes. I pushed the couch against it for good measure. Sat on the floor with my back to the kitchen. Eyes locked on the window. 3:14 a.m. Silence. I waited. Nothing. No knock. Just when I started to breathe again, the knock came. Not from the window. From inside the closet. 3 feet behind me. To be continued in part 4. Parte 4. Inside the room, the knock came from the closet. Not loud, not urgent. Just one slow tap, deliberate. I didn't move for 10 seconds. My spine locked up, heart hammering, stomach twisted. Then another knock, same cadence, same location. I stood slowly, grabbed the kitchen knife, stepped toward the closet door, Every footstep felt like I was walking through molasses. I reached the handle, paused, then yanked it open. Nothing inside. Just coats, shoes, dust. But it was cold. Much colder than the rest of the room. Like something had just stepped out, or hadn't yet stepped in. I backed away, closed the door, pushed a chair in front of it, sat on the floor, didn't sleep, didn't blink, didn't breathe right for the next hour. Then I heard a sound, my phone buzzing. I looked, new voicemail, timestamp 3:16 a.m., unknown number. I hit play. The message was short, 12 seconds, just breathing. Then, "You're almost ready." The voice was mine. The next morning, I checked my window. The glass had condensation on the inside. In the center, a handprint, human-sized, pressed flat, fingers long, wrong, thumb too low, palm stretched, like someone dragging skin over bone. I didn't touch it, just took a photo, then wiped it away. But the pressure it left, that stayed, like the glass itself was bruised. I went to a bar that night. Didn't drink much. Just wanted to be around other people, real people, voices, movement. I stayed until closing. Got back after 2 a.m. Sat on the couch fully dressed. Waited. Didn't look at the window. Didn't move. At 3:14 a.m., nothing. No knock. No sound. Relief rushed over me. Too fast. I let my guard down. That's when the lights cut out. Total blackout. The TV died. The fridge stopped humming. Even my phone shut off. Then the knock came. From all sides. Window, walls, closet, bathroom, kitchen sink. One knock, all at once. Then a voice, all around me. "Do you see it yet?" I looked up and saw my reflection, not in the glass, in the air, floating above me, upside down, smiling, mouth open, speaking in sync with mine. And I said, "I'm not on the inside." To be continued in Part 5, Parte 5, the apartment across from mine. I woke up on the floor, fully dressed, cold. The power was back on. TV blinking with a no-signal box in the center. Phone in my hand, screen cracked. It was 6:42 a.m. The window was clear. No handprints, no condensation, no sign of what had happened, except for the dried blood on my nose. I stood slowly, checked the locks, the closet, the mirror. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. And then I noticed the message, written in the steam on my bathroom mirror, though I hadn't showered. "Look opposite." I didn't leave the apartment that day. Instead, I stood at my window and stared across the street. Directly opposite my unit, another apartment building. 10 stories, balconies, curtains, mostly drawn, most windows dark, except one. A single window on the 9th floor, same height as mine. Across from me by maybe 30 meters. And someone was standing there, still, pressed against the glass. I used my phone camera to zoom in. It was me. Same hoodie, same expression. Just watching. They didn't move, didn't blink. I waved. They didn't wave back. They just kept staring. Then slowly, they lifted their hand and knocked. Once, soft, from across the street. And my own window, the one in my apartment, echoed the knock. I stumbled back, hit the floor, crawled into the hallway, my ears ringing. my vision shaking. I left the building, walked for hours, aimless, hands trembling. I called Dylan again. Voicemail. I called my sister. No answer. I stopped at a payphone. Yes, they still exist. And dialed my own number. It rang twice. Then answered. Not by me. By a voice that sounded like mine, but hollow. Off. It whispered, "You're making progress," then hung up. That night, I slept with all the lights on, TV blaring static, closet open, kitchen drawers emptied. Just in case, I didn't plan to record, didn't plan to listen, but at 3:14 a.m., my phone lit up on its own. Started recording. No app open, no prompt, just recording. I couldn't stop it, couldn't power it off. I watched as it filmed the window. The glass began to fog again, and a phrase wrote itself in the condensation. One of us isn't real. I whispered, "Which one?" The phone picked it up, played it back instantly, then glitched, repeated the phrase over and over. Which one? Which one? Which one? Then the screen went black, and a new video appeared in the gallery. Timestamp. Tomorrow, 3:14 a.m. It hadn't happened yet. I tapped play. It showed me standing on the balcony, staring in at myself, and saying you're on the wrong side. To be continued in part 6. Parte 6, the other side. I didn't sleep, didn't move, just stared at the phone screen. The video titled, Tomorrow, 3:14 a.m. It shouldn't exist. But there it was, me, standing on the balcony, knocking, smiling, whispering, "You're on the wrong side." The footage was clear, lit by nothing but moonlight and city haze. But I could see it in my face. That wasn't me. Or if it was the part of me I didn't know how to bury. I deleted the video. It came back. I reset the phone. Still there. I threw it out. Next morning, it was on the counter again. Screen lit up. Video waiting. Still labeled, Tomorrow, 3:14. I'm now, it said. Final cut. I left the apartment at noon. Went to a motel near Midway. Paid in cash. No name. No ID. Fell asleep with the lights on. Woke at 3:14 a.m. No knock. Just silence. And my phone, still on the nightstand, recording. The video time-stamped, 3:14 a.m., showed me sleeping in the motel bed. Then, the screen distorted, glitched, revealed a frame of me, the other me standing behind the curtains. On the inside, smiling. I checked out, went back to the apartment. Everything was as I left it. The boards on the balcony door had been removed, a couch pulled back, and on the inside of the window, scrawled in black marker, "Tonight." I called a friend from out of town, begged him to come over. Told him it was serious. He said I sounded messed up. I told him I'd pay for his gas, his food, anything. He said he'd drive in, said he'd be there by midnight. At 11:58 p.m., the power went out. Phone died, TV off. Fridge silent. I sat in the dark, watching the window. At 3:14 a.m., the knock didn't come from the glass. It came from the inside of my skull, like someone knocking from inside me. And a voice, my voice, whispered, "You were never here." I stumbled into the hallway, tried to leave, but the front door wouldn't open. Not locked, just gone. Flat wall, no knob, no frame, like it had never existed. The window behind me glowed, pale white, and in the reflection, not me, but him, the other me, standing inside, motionless, waiting, I turned to face the window, and he was gone, the reflection replaced by black. Then layers began to form in the condensation. Open. I stepped toward it, touched the glass. It was warm, not cold like it should have been, and it rippled like water. I pushed harder. My hand went through, then my arm, then my shoulder, then darkness. I woke up outside the building, face against the sidewalk, freezing, mouth dry, phone gone, keys gone, wallet gone. I stood, looked up, apartment 903. The light was on, and in the window, someone stood watching, wearing my clothes, holding my phone, smiling. To be continued in part 7. Parte 7. The Watcher in 903. I stood outside in the cold, staring up at my own apartment. I tried to tell myself I was dreaming, delirious, hallucinating, but I could see him, me, clearly in the window, pacing, phone in hand, backlit by that soft, yellow light I always left on in the kitchen. Same haircut, same hoodie, same everything. Except for one detail. He never blinked. Not once. I ran to the lobby. Doors locked. Security desk empty. Keycard disabled. I banged on the glass. No one answered. The doorman was gone. Mailboxes sealed shut. Everything inside looked paused, like a stage set after the audience leaves. I circled the building, looked up again. He was still there, watching, now with both hands against the glass, mouth moving, repeating something. I couldn't hear it, but I knew the cadence. 3 words, over and over. Let me in. I found a payphone 2 blocks down, called the police, told them someone had broken into my apartment, impersonating me. They asked for my name. I gave it. They paused, then asked again. I repeated it. Another pause. Then, "We have no records under that name, sir. Are you sure you're calling the right precinct?" I hung up, went back to the building, and found the front doors wide open. No lock, no alarm, no resistance. I stepped inside. Elevator was waiting. Doors open. Lights on. Floor indicator blinking 9. I got in, pressed the button. The doors closed. But the elevator didn't move. Not up, not down, just stayed. Then the lights flickered, and the elevator mirror, the one I'd looked into every day for weeks, showed the other me, standing behind me, closer, breathing, smiling. When the doors finally opened, it wasn't the 9th floor, not anymore. Everything was darker, walls longer, floor numbers missing. But I walked anyway, found the door marked 903, except the numbers were backward, mirrored, as if written from the inside. I knocked, no answer. I tried the handle, it turned easily. The door opened, and I stepped inside my own apartment. It looked the same, mostly, except for the drawings, covering every wall. Hundreds of them, all done in charcoal. Spirals, windows, hands. Smiling mouths, my face, over and over, in every room. And on the TV, a looped video. Me, the other me, pacing, talking to someone not visible in frame, saying, "He won't let go, I keep knocking, he keeps watching." Then I heard a knock, not from the door, from the mirror. I turned and saw myself on the other side, pressed against the glass, screaming silently, mouth moving fast, eyes wide, and the mirror fogged over, letters forming, "I'm still in here." to be concluded in Part 8. Parte 8. Letting go. I stared at the mirror, at my own face on the other side, mouth moving, hands slamming the glass, fog building, letters forming. I'm still in here. And for the first time since this all started, I understood. He wasn't trying to get in. He was trying to get out. The other me, the one smiling through the glass, knocking at 3:14 a.m., whispering in my voice, he wasn't the intruder. He was the part that got left behind, trapped, reflected, repeating. And I'd been the one walking around, never knowing, until now. The mirror began to crack, hairline fractures spreading like roots. But it didn't shatter. Instead, the cracks pulsed, breathing, alive, and the reflection, my reflection, stopped moving. Tilted its head, whispered, "Trade?" I stepped closer, pressed my hand to the glass. He did the same. Warmth, then cold, then static in my ears, and everything turned white. I woke up in the chair by the window, morning sun filling the room. My phone buzzing on the floor, missed calls, texts from friends I hadn't seen in months. "Where have you been? Dude, are you okay? Weird dream last night. You were in it." I stood slowly, checked the time, 3:14 p.m. Light poured through the glass. No condensation, no knock, no double. I walked to the mirror, looked in. My face, mine, but for just 1 second, I saw it, a flicker, the other me, smiling faintly, not maliciously, not eerily, just free. That night, I slept with the window open. No tape, no boards, no fear. At 3:14 a.m., I woke up on my own. Silence, then a breeze, then a knock from the inside of the mirror. Soft, one time, and a whisper. "Thank you. I don't live in 903 anymore. I left a week later, moved out of the city entirely. New place, ground floor, no mirrors in the bedroom, just in case. But sometimes, late at night, when I pass a reflective window or see my face in a store display, I pause, just to make sure the reflection moves when I do. And every now and then, it doesn't. But it always smiles, and I let it. End of story.